Our ultimate goal with modes is to get familiar with how they sound and be able to use their distinct flavors in our music. So one thing that's essential for capturing the essence of each mode is knowing which particular notes in each mode make them stand out from each other. So let's find these characteristic notes for each mode by comparing them to our already familiar major and natural minor scales. So we've learned a lot actually about the major scale and the minor scale so far in this series. We're going to use those as our reference point here when we're discovering what's special about these modes. So we'll compare mode scales that have a major third within them. For example, Lydian, that's a major third. Or Mixolydian, major third. We'll compare those to our major scale. And then for the mode scales that have a minor third in them, for example, Dorian, minor third, we're going to compare those to our minor scale. So first let's compare Ionian to our major scale. You're going to notice that they're identical because they are. So a C major scale would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And our C Ionian scale will also be C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Exact same thing. So the real characteristic quality that makes Ionian easy to remember is that it sounds exactly like your major scale. It is exactly like your major scale. And just a matter of semantics, the difference between Ionian as a mode and Ionian as a scale. So that's helpful. Just, Ionian sounds exactly like major and is exactly like major. But how about Lydian? So Lydian's a little different. So once again, our C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. But Lydian is C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. So I'm going to highlight that sharp. C, D, E. And it's that sharped F that makes C Lydian different from C Ionian. And since F is the fourth note of a C scale, we can infer that the characteristic quality of Lydian is that the fourth note in Lydian is sharped. So Lydian is just a major scale with a sharped fourth. And so that's how you get that Lydian sound. You raise the fourth. So here's how you can apply that knowledge right away. Let's say you're improvising over a C drone. Let me get out my classic C drone. Okay. So here's our C drone. So if I improvise over that starting in C Ionian with a F natural, but then switch to C Lydian by sharpening the F, you'll really hear the way that the whole mood of the improv changes. So I'm going to play a little bit over this drone using C major. Oh, good sentence there. And then I'm going to switch to C Lydian and you'll hear the difference. So check it out. Alright, so you could see how the texture changed when I started turning all the F's into F sharps. That's all I did was I was playing in C major and then I started playing in C major with a sharped F, which put me in C Lydian. Alright, well let's do that with the rest of the modes. So the characteristic quality of Lydian is the sharp 4. What's the characteristic quality of Mixolydian? Let's take a look. So C major is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And C mixolydian is C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat. So here's your C scale. But now here's mixolydian. So we have that seventh note is flat. So that means C mixolydian is just the same as C major but with a flatted seventh. So the characteristic quality of C mixolydian is that it's major with a flat seventh. So now I'm going to do that same improv where I switch from playing C major or C Ionian, and then I'll switch to C mixolydian, and you'll be able to hear the difference, hopefully. So I would describe mixolydian as kind of like a maybe bluesy, more, it brings up images of farms, more of a bluesy, like farmy major. I don't know. It's good to come up with your own descriptive way of thinking about the modes using kind of more abstract language that makes sense to you. Like Lydian was spacey, and mixolydian is, for me, it's like farmy major. Just think of, what does this sound remind you of, and then use that as a way to help you remember the distinct sounds of each mode. So those were our major ones. We had Ionian, Lydian, and mixolydian. Ionian's just major, Lydian's got the sharp 4, mixolydian has the flat 7. Next up, let's check out the modes that are minor. So to keep things simple, let's work with A minor as our natural minor so we can avoid sharps and flats, and you'll really be able to clearly see the distinct notes in each mode. So let's start by comparing A minor to A Dorian. So an A minor scale is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G is your A minor scale. Nice and alphabetical, no sharps or flats in there. But A Dorian is A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. So that means the sixth note is sharped. So Dorian's just a minor scale with a raised sixth note. So let's do the drone improv again for A minor switching to A Dorian. So we're going to start with A natural minor and go to A Dorian. So when Dorian comes in, it sounds more like a bluesy kind of funky minor, whereas natural minor was like a lot darker, a lot more serious sounding. Alright, so next we're going to do A Phrygian. So A minor is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A Phrygian's the third mode, so we think, alright, A, it must be the third note of the key we're in, which puts us in F major, which has one flat, B flat, just kind of talking you through the steps here. So A Phrygian ends up being A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G. So you'll notice the difference between A minor and A Phrygian is that the second note, which is B in this case, is flatted. So Phrygian is just a minor scale with a flatted second. So let's listen to how that flatted second makes everything's sound. So next up is Aeolian, and this is actually another easy one, because Aeolian is exactly the same as A natural minor. So A minor is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and Aeolian is also A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They're the same. So just like Ionian is major, our key for remembering Aeolian is that it's the same as A natural minor, which we're already a bit more familiar with. So minor, Aeolian, synonymous. Finally, we're going to get to Alocrian, which is the big bad wolf of modes, as I say, because there are two characteristic notes. Oh boy. So for this one, we're going to flat the 2 and the 5. So A minor is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but Alocrian is going to be A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G. So without the mistakes, it's A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G. It's pretty unresolved sounding. Let's hear how it sounds in an improv. Now that one's spicy, but very nice. So that's each mode in the context of an improv where we've started from either major or minor and switched to the mode of the moment. And you can really hear from doing this how the whole musical world changes when you just switch these 1 or 2 characteristic notes and bring them into the fray. And I think this is the way to dig deepest into modes, is you just get a drone going and you play in different modes over the drone, all parallel to each other. Like we were talking in the previous lesson, we're going to play our modes parallel to whatever the drone is rather than relative to the drone. So in this case, if there's an A drone, we're going to play all our modes starting on A Dorian, A Phrygian. And you can do, obviously C Dorian, C Phrygian. You can take it to all different keys, different places, just depending on whatever your drone is. And I strongly recommend doing exactly what I just did today on your own, which is why I have a MP3 of that very backing track I made in the description of the video so that you can practice improvising over drones and trying out the different modes. So I would just go through each example we just did, and instead of listening to me wank on, go ahead and play your own improvisation and try out each mode. So this is the good the good stuff I've been waiting to get to. I really enjoyed doing this, and I hope you have fun with it too. See you next time for chords and their relationship to modes.